go! Hey everybody, Happy New Year! So as you know, 2022 has just started. So we're gonna kick off the new year with a bang right now. So we got a couple of reviews right now. One from Yoshi Promotion, SEAdLINNG, with final battle that took place on the 29th of December. Also, AAW with, of course, Unstoppable that features Ruby Soho versus the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander. But also we got AEW Rampage, New Year's Smash, and of course 205 Live, and a couple of news updates I believe everybody wants to hear about because this is something I have been following right now since today. But right now, let's keep this party going with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good time. So, let's get 2022 started. And I know we're excited what's going to take place for 2022 in pro wrestling. I know everybody's excited what's new things are coming up. And, of course, who's going to be signing what, all the whole thing. But right now, it's review time. So the first one I got is from Yoshi Promotion, SEAdLINNG, with final battle that took place on the 29th of December in Corkin Hall. Uh, this was like the last show of SEAdLINNG of 2021, which is pretty good. First match we got, of course, Kawahara taking on Yu. That's YUU. It was a good match. However, but I did felt like Yu was going to win this one because Yu was a much larger individual, but much of a powerhouse in this match. And of course, she finished off Kawahara with a power bomb completely right there, and it was easy for her to win. Next up, I have to say this is one of my favorite matches with when it comes to SEAdLINNG, the high speed matches, and there's a reason why. Let's see who's going to be participating. We got Chi Ozora, Ayame Sazamura, Tsukushi Haruka, who from Ice Ribbon, Chicago Nagashima, and Yukiro. But the special guest referee is the reason I like these high speed is, of course, Taiyo Natsuki. Now, the reason I like the high speed is because whenever there's a high speed match involved, it's Natsuki gets involved. She's a referee. She's really fun to watch, and not to mention, at times she gets involved in the match, either when she gets herself in a wrestling match, but she counts the countouts with faster pace. That's what makes it high speed. So there was some good moments in this one where, of course, it's a 5-on-1. It's like a scramble match, but you don't know who's going to be predictable. So anything was going quick, but however, it was Yanya Masamuro who picked up the victory when she pinned Yomiko Hora, and it was a very fast, high speed pin, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But of course, Yumiko didn't take that too kindly, but she was willing to let it go. Now, our next match we have, of course, Rico Kaiju from Las Fresas de Oaxaca taking on the promoter and lead promoter of Oz Academy and also leader of Ozaki-gun, Mayumi Ozaki. This was more of an aggressive match when it comes to Mayumi. As you know, Mayumi, she doesn't play games. She's there to kick some butt, and that's what I've always witnessed with her. However, she did that the entire time with Rico, and that's how she beat her with the 1, 2, 3, being aggressive. Our next match is a 6-woman tag team match. We got Saki Akai from DDT, Tsukasa Fujimoto from Ice Ribbon, Hana Nakamori, I don't remember what promotion she's in, taking on Itsuki Aoki, Rina Yamashita, and Yoshiko. Now, this was a very good match. I did like certain things. When it comes to Rina Yamashita, she is like the most aggressive person. Same thing with Yoshiko, but it was Yoshiko who picked up the victory when she pinned um, what's her name, Nakamori, into this match, and she's proving her dominance as she's always been, and that's what I've noticed. But it was a good match. Now our next match is a championship match. This is for the Beyond the Sea Tag Team Championship with challengers La Frescas de Oiscas, consistent of Asuka and Makoto, taking on the champs, the Destroyer Miroyo Matsumoto, and of course Naname Takahashi. Now this is a match where both Makoto and Asuka are trying to get their payback. As you know, they lost these titles to them, and I think they felt like they want to reclaim what there is. But however, La Fresas de Oiscas took it very, very aggressive to regain the titles that they felt was taken from them, and that's what they did. They even used chairs and ensured them. But however, when it was in fact Asuka who pinned Naname Takahashi in order to regain these titles. I thought it was a very interesting match. But however, what does this mean for Nanane Takahashi? Now, there's been reports, I'm not sure if I read it correctly, that she is planning to retire as an in-ring competitor, but not as a promoter and someone from the office of SEAdLINNNG. As you know, um, Takahashi, she is the founder of SEAdLINNNG. I'm not sure if that was the case, but I'll find out more information. Now, our main event, we have for the Beyond the Sea Championship, we have Arisa Nakajima taking on, of course, Anaki Ryu Mizunami. I thought it was a good match. It was really interesting. Um, Last time anybody don't the Ryu Mizunami beat Asuka for this title, and she did. And now we got Arisa Nakajima, one of the most Helly figures in SEAdLINNNG, challenge for this title, and I thought it was a pretty interesting match. But it was Nakajima that pinned Mizunami in sort of like a suplex, not like a tiger suplex, something else. I don't know what they call it. I can't describe it, but it was interesting, and she finally regained this title. But the real question remains: who will be the next competitor challenging? Don't know for sure. I will get another SEAdLINNNG show because it was just posted earlier, and couldn't pass up the opportunity to watch it. But I think right now it's time to move on with AAW Unstoppable. Okay, so we got AAW with Unstoppable. This is a very interesting event, the last show of the year for them. This played a very important timing, as you know. This was to mark the return of Ruby Soho with AEW, but before she was known as Ruby Soho, she had a different name, Heidi Loveless. Um, that was a name that people remember her, but now she is, of course, back with this in her main event. But the main event is her with Josh Alexander. I thought it was a very interesting match. But right now, let's go from start to finish with this entire thing. The opening match is I believe, a six-way scramble match. Now, we all know these type of matches, they are predictable. We don't know who's going to pick up the victory. We have Larry D versus Dante Leone versus Jake Something versus Brandon Lee versus one called Manders versus Gringo Loco. Now, I wasn't sure how this was going to be. I have noticed we have a couple of high flyers like Dante Leon, Braden Lee, and Gringo Loco, would mix up with guys who are heavyweights, powerhouses like Larry D, Jake Something, and one called Manders. I'm like, wow, it's a very interesting combination. But uh, it was Jake something that picked up the victory when he pinned Larry D in it. I thought it was pretty good. Or was it Larry D? Well, I don't remember, but it was Jake something to pick up a really good victory. So the real question is, what's next with Jake something? As you know, he previously lost the tag team titles, but we'll see how that's gonna play out. Next up, this is a grudge match in a intergender tag team match. We have Christy James teaming with Ren Jones. Christy James turned her back on Sky Blue after winning the AAW Women's Championship at the Windy City Classic, and Ren Jones kind of told her that she's better than this, that she can be a much bigger star. But as for Sky Blue, she teamed up with Storm Grayson. The match was pretty good. I mean, there is like a lot of bad blood from both sides, but however, it was Ren Jones who somehow took a very fast pinfall in order to win the match. And do you think this is over? I don't know, but I do know for a fact Christy James has her sights set on that the AEW Women's title that Sky Blue is now has in her possession. Next up, we got Silas Young versus Juice Robinson. I have to say it was a very big match. Silas Young did everything in his power to put away Juice Robinson. But however, it looks like his feud with one called Manders is far, far from over. Manders show up. I don't think Juice appreciates the fact that he was there. But Manders has his grudge against with Silas Young. But however, because Silas Young got involved, one call Manders won, it did allow for Juice Robinson to win. So I don't know if he if you appreciate that, but a win's a win. But you can assure you that they'll be held to pay by Silas Young onto one call Manders. Now this match is a very bit of aggressive. We have the Savage Weight, Fred Yehi taking on Shaft. This match went out of control. Basically, these men are trying to determine to kill each other. The reason is this: right now they have their sights set on one thing only, and right now it's the AAW Heavyweight title that Matt Fitchett has in his possession. Now, on the note, Matt Fitchett's not there, so practically that's what took place. So basically, they'll do anything to destroy each other for a shot at the chance to take on Matt Fitchett for the title. But the match took drastic out of control. So the referee called it a no contest. Even people from the back tried to separate them, but it didn't do any good for anybody. Excuse me. Now our next match is a championship match. We have the AAW Heritage Championship in a three-way elimination match. We have the Young Goat Myron Reed, the inevitable Ace Austin, and of course Hakeem Zayn, the champion. This was one of those good matches that you enjoy watching. Who is definitely going to win this title? However, it was Hakeem Zayn that took out Myron Reed, but it did give him chance to try to focus on Ace Austin. Now, of course, whenever Hakeem thinks he has everything under control, but he doesn't, he has his lackey Hakim who actually shows up, tries to give him, but Ace Austin was prepared. Gia Miller shows up and gave that stooge a low blow to teach him a lesson. But however, it was Ace Austin that picked up a really good victory in order to gain this title once again back. The last time he had this title, Hakeem Zayn just took advantage of it and tried to get it faster. But however, Hakeem will not take this lightly that he lost this way, but it appears now that between both Ace and Myron, now it's becoming a bad blood. Like, who's going to be the one to challenge for this title? So this is one of those things where Ace Austin knows, okay, is this what you want? We'll go for it. So yeah. Next up we have is Davey Vega along with Johnny E. Bravo and Heidenbauer taking on Alex Zane. I thought it was a good match. I'm a big fan of Alex Zane. But however, of course, Bravo and Heidenbauer keep getting in their way, try to ensure that he wins, and of course costing them the match. But sooner or later they will be held to pay coming in. Next up we got, this one went to a fast-paced match. We have Coda Jacobs taking on Russ Jones. Russ Jones, he could decimate anybody that stands in his way, and I think that's what felt great. So sorry, Jacob, you you got wasted. Our next match is the AAW Tag Team Championship. The champions Hammerstone and Ace Perry taking on ACH and Joshi. It was amazing. I love ACH. He's a really good wrestler, very talented. Um, I was like like so much in tune with this match. But however, it was Hammerstone who picked up the victory for his team to win it, and they were both Hammerstone and Ace Perry retained the titles. Now let's get to our main event: Ruby Soho versus Josh Alexander. Man, this match was nuts to the bone. I was so impressed with the whole thing. I'm like, wow, great moments. But however, it was Josh Alexander to put her away in the Avalanche Tombstone, and that was pretty much it. So basically, I'm like, wow, I enjoyed it. So whew, I can watch that over and over, but right now I can't. But Josh Alexander won by that way. So I think I give this show an amazing a 9, but we'll see what happens in the next. Hope they say they won't be doing another show within a month and a half, but I'm okay with it. So let's move on with AEW Rampage. Okay, so this is AEW Rampage New Year's Smash. As you know, this is the last AEW Rampage on the year of 2021 and, of course, on TNT till they move into the mothership, TBS, as what Excalibur likes to call it. It opened up with Darby Allin along with Sting to take on Anthony Bowens and with Max Caster. Now, I think this was a very good match because you know how Anthony Bowens and Max Caster likes to talk smack and they think they can beat them. I think the best moment is when Max Caster tried to get the attention of Darby Allin, and of course Darby Allin just gave him the finger right behind him, like saying "F you." I don't think he likes that the fact that he thought he can get into his head, but come on, you can't get into the head of this guy, and I think that's what I liked about that moment. It was pretty good. But of course, there was another good moment where uh, Anthony Bone, Max, what's his name? Sting took out Max Caster, and then of course Anthony Bone says, "Where's your boy now?" And then Sting goes, "Where's your boy?" And I thought it was a pretty good moment. But however, it was Darby Allin pulled off the coffin drop in order to win the match, and it was a great victory. But however, something unusual happened in the post match. Andrade El Idolo shows up. Now, I just don't know what was the significance of his presence, but I wouldn't be surprised if Andrade decides to target Darby Allin, like story wise, saying, oh, you don't belong here, you're just a hoodlum. Basically, Darby Allin's not going to give a damn about it. But however, after this presence of Andrade shows up, the Acclaim actually showed up once, decided to sneak attack and beat up Darby and Sting. But mark my words here, folks, they will be held at bay by the Acclaim, by Sting and Darby Allin once they get everything straight, and then we'll see what the focus is. Because if we're starting a feud between Darby and Andrade, that's going to be a good one. Our next match, oh my god, this one is a brutal match. The street fight match. I was so pretty good, and it was really good. I like the moments where Bunny had the brass knuckles in her hand, but Anna Jay used the chair to block it, and it hurt her hand. But we saw blood dripping from both Tay and the Bunny. I'm just, whoa, very insane. And then that crazy moonsault that Penelope Ford did on Tay, I thought it was nuts. But the table did not break. I don't know if that was it was a botch, but at the same time, we saw the knee of Penelope Ford get into Tay Conti's face. I'm just sure she's okay. But man, that match was nuts. But of course, we haven't seen thumbtacks since that lights out match. I thought it was nuts. But I have to say, these women, They were real troopers, and I give them props for that. But the finisher was none other than Anna Jay, who used a barbed wire on her arm to apply the Queen Slayer onto the bunny and force her to tap out. I thought it was a great match. I'm like, this was a very good match. I did not expect it. We haven't seen anything like this, but right now I'm trying to decide which one was good. This one or the unsanctioned match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. I don't know. You guys tell me if I should debate this. If I'm not, then I'll just shut up about it. Now, our main event is the TNT Championship with Ethan Page along with Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky taking on Cody Rhodes, who's being accompanied by Arn Anderson. As you know, Lambert started a little conspiracy theory saying that the Rhodes are the problem, that they kiss ass and all this other stuff. And of course, Arn Anderson, he is always knows what he's talking about. But however, you know for a fact that Dan Lambert would do anything to ensure that the TNT title goes straight to American Top Team to prove a point that Cody is starts a conspiracy theory that he had to kiss Tony Khan's ass in order to get this match. But however, things did not go exactly according to plan. Scorpio Sky thought he can get away with it, but he got his butt kicked by Dustin Rhodes as payback for what happened on Wednesday. But at the same time, it was Cody who pulled off two crossroads and a Tiger Driver 98 and helping him to retain the title. So this got to be a much disappointing loss to Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. So I'm happy I saw this match. It was great. I did like the street fights. The street fight match was really good. I think that was my favorite one of the night. These women are real troopers and all this, but uh, we'll see what happens then. But right now, let's move on to 205 Live. Okay, 205 Live, three great matches. We have Edris Enofi versus Guru Raj. Good match. I think I'm very much invested on Edris for a few reasons. One, I did not know, as you all know, I'm from San Diego, California. I find out that this guy was trained at the Level Up Pro Wrestling Academy. And I'm like, whoa, he was under B-Boy's direction. And I'm sure B-Boy is very proud of him. And I have to say, Edris is definitely going to be a rising star in the wrestling business. I just hope that if he ever does go to the main roster, they just don't screw that up. I just hope that doesn't happen. But he pulled off a really good victory when he applied the shooting star press. I was surprised that it happened because I know there's been mixed feelings towards that move. If you guys haven't forgotten about what Brock Lesnar did with Kurt Angle in that one match, that's the reason I question it. But it was a good move. Now our next match is Amari Miller versus the debut of Nikita Lyons. If you guys don't know this, Nikita Lyons, one was known as Lionesses, she was part of the Women of Wrestling for a while. She was part of that one management group. I don't know what they call it. Uh, I was well aware that she tried out for the WWE tryouts in Vegas. As you know, if those who are from the San Diego area, LA area, and California, if they're planning to try out with WWE, they might have migrate all the way to tryouts. And I think that's what happened. But it was a pretty good debut. I wasn't sure about Nikita's new look, about everything, because she was a lot different the last time I saw her. But I had to say, Amari Miller is definitely one of those wrestlers I enjoy watching. She pulled off a very interesting move that allowed her to win the match. But the added bonus is her mother was there watching and wanted to see her daughter wrestle. I thought it was real nice for her to do that. Our next and main event is Dante Chen versus Draco Anthony. I thought it was a very impressive match. Dante Chen, he seems like a prominent wrestler that many fans can get behind off, and I think I love his signature move that he does, and I'm like, wow. So he's good. So Dante Chen won with against Draco Anthony with that one move. I don't know what he calls it, but yeah. So it was pretty good. So I think that's it right now we have for reviews. I think it's time for some news updates. Okay, so welcome to the news updates. Now, since the start of 22 has happened, it's official, folks. It's been announced on Sammy Guevara's social media. He and Tay Conti are now officially a couple. Now, I know there's going to be mixed reactions towards this. I know, I get it. You guys think that Tay Conti's a home wrecker for causing the breakup from Pam and Sammy. I think that's a load of crap. You know, everybody who believes that jumped into the wrong conclusion. Tay Conti had nothing to do with it. But I know some of you guessed thinking, oh, she showed up in the vlog. That makes sense. Hogwash, guys. Come on. Can we just be happy for him for once? I mean, I know him breaking up with Pam possibly is not easy. And you guys definitely know what that like when you break up with somebody. It's not easy. But I'm sure Tay must have been there for him trying to ease him, because it hurt him. Whatever the reason they called off their engagement must have been painful, but he must have got through it. And I think he owed Tay Conti a thanks for that. But you may never know if romance blossoms somewhere. So, but, I did notice something. If you guys don't know this. If you guys know this, if you already know this, that Tay Conti is Brazilian. What you guys don't know, Pam is also Brazilian. I'm like thinking, does Sam has a thing for Brazilian girls? I don't know. He did like eating at that one Brazilian restaurant that he likes, if you guys ever seen the vlogs, but he never posted that anymore. I don't know why. He likes eating there. But but all we can say is congratulations, Sammy. We're all happy for you and Tay. Uh, hope you guys do some amazing content on the vlog. I don't know what else you're gonna do. I know you used to drive Pam crazy, but now let's see how Tay Conti will react crazy on that. Now, in other news, more information has been coming out from Big Swole. As you know, she's been released from the company. She's been she her contract was not re-signed, and recently I have received information on social media that, in the other hand, hold on, let me put it up for here real quick so I can read it. She is now officially going to be, appearing at the Fight Club Pro Wrestling uh, in February of this year on the 20th to take on Trish Adara, and there are those are saying that they speculate that she would challenge Adara for the Pan African World Disperia Wrestling Championship. It's still unclear about that. But however, there's more information that's coming out. As you know, Big Swole gave a little interview about what was the main reason. There was that whole thing where I thought, okay, maybe that disease that she has was played a part of it. Well, it played some out, but however, she did say that there was a lack of diversity in AEW. I'm like thinking, what does he mean? She means by that. It turns out that there was like more to what, from her point of view, what she saw in AEW that she made her decide to leave. Like diversity, and Tony Khan responded to that in a putting some of the wrestlers under the bus, and one of them was Hobbs, and Leo Rush. There was mixed responses between Leo Rush and others about this. I'm like, I don't know what was Tony Khan's response about why he had to do it. I mean, the smart person would have just told him to keep his mouth shut, but I think he was trying to be honest and be a little bit of defensive about what Big Swole was talking about. I don't know if that was the case. So you may see it soon, but don't know much. Now, our final news update here is, of course, coming from At-Risk Girls. Now, this information came around. As you know, there was a lot of talk about the At-Risk Girls shutting down, but apparently it turns out it was Colors and Beginnings, one of their productions. Now, this is coming from the Actwres Girls English Twitter page that I've been following. So this is what they said. As AWG closes Beginnings and Colors, here is an update where the members of those rosters will be in 2022. It's going to be a long direct, so it is. Miku Inoue will remain in At Risk Girls. She has a prominent role in RG ARG Red Fragment. Momo Kogo has left At Risk Girls but has not announced any plans for 2022. Colors Saki, Hikari Shimizu, Rina Amikura, and Yoko Sakurai have all left At Risk Girls and will participate in Saki's new unit, the GPU Colors. Mari, Ayona Iri, Misa Matsui will remain with At Risk Girls. Mari and Misa are both part of ARG, and Ayumi Hayashi has retired. So basically, it was all about two like shows that they have, like Beginnings and Colors. The rosters from those shows are now either leaving the promotion, or there's that you heard that Saki's forming her own unit, meaning faction. Uh, Probably they'll be making appearances in the independent scenes in Japan. Momokogo, who I am a fan of, she's very impressive. Don't know where she's gonna go. I just hope. I don't know if I'm a betting man on this one. I'm not sure if she'll be heading to Stardom or go to Ice Ribbon, because she has made appearances on that. But we'll see what happens. Um, you know, it was kind of weird hearing all that. So I think that's pretty much what we got. I like to say, let's call it a night. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope everybody's having a good time and is starting 2021 with a bang. I know we here in DWZ do, even though I'm running things on my own right now, but that's how I like it. That's how I want to live it. Um, can't wait to what 2022 has in store in pro wrestling, especially, you know, promotions that we might want to see what's going to take place, maybe upcoming events. I'm not sure, but it's going to be one heck of a year. Coming up, we do have Choco Pro with their first show of the new year, and I will throw in a past event by none other than uh, World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana that took place on the 28th of November, I believe. I think, yeah, there's that. So I'm excited to do that, and then I'll in the following episode I will just wing it, because I know for sure I will review possibly GCW with the Infinity, and also there is a chance I might throw in First Day from WWE. I'm not sure. I'm not making any promises, and possibly throw in Pro Wrestling Zero, since I haven't done one in for almost a long time. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not making any promises. But right now, I have to say, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.